This is By the Bottle TV. We're in San Francisco, California.
We're going to meet Beau Timken, the owner of True Sake, America's first sake store.
Drew, I'm excited. Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
As you walk into True Sake, the first thing you notice are the bright colors. They adorn everything, especially the sake bottles themselves. The owner, Beau Timken, has created an interesting system of cords and labels in order to make sake just a little bit more approachable. Looking at all these bottles is getting us thirsty. It's time to meet the man behind the sake bottles.
So, Beau, thank you for having us here at True Sake in San Francisco. Really appreciate the time, and we're really looking forward, tasting anything you've got for us.
Greetings and welcome to True Sake. True Sake was the first dedicated sake store opened up outside of Japan. So about 13 years ago, I didn't have a place to buy sake. So I thought, let's open a place where we can answer all the questions that people have about sake. And I must be honest, of all the boozes out there, sake by far is the most handheld alcohol in the business.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, you have to tell the story over and over and over again. People know a little bit about Chardonnay. People know a little bit about tequila. People don't know too much about sake. So every time somebody comes into the store, it's a 5-minute discussion just to get people on the same page a little bit. Today, I wanted to throw down a couple different brews for you guys. A traditionally made sake, a seasonally released sake, and then a sparkling sake.
Sounds great.
We have to use buzzwords in the business, right? Because people don't know about sake. So I always say that sake is built like beer, but drinks like wine.
Okay.
So people come into the store, they're like, I don't know anything about sake, but they do, because they can speak to their beer and wine profiles. And in the beginning, I was just a white guy standing in the store saying, come in, here's drink my sake. But people didn't know, so I had to develop a system, and that's when I invented that thing called sort of taste match.
Yes.
Where if you could speak to your beer and wine profiles, I could put you into a sake that you would like. Under the premise that somebody likes a big Guinness, a big Zinfandel, they're not going to like the same sake as like somebody who likes a very clean Sauvignon Blanc or a Kirin or something like that. Sake, again, built like beer, drinks like wine. It's a fermented beast, and of all the fermented beverages out there, sake has the highest naturally occurring alcohol content. Everybody thinks of sake is like, oh, I got so wasted. Yeah. So the average alcohol content is about 15%. Okay. So, which is it's a little robust.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not distilled.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that kind of.
I'm not drinking tequila all night.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's funny you should say that because 80% of the product is water. So 20% is alcohol. So you are drinking a lot of water in the process.
So you're hydrating. It's good. It's good for your health. All right.
So you guys asked to try a couple different sakes. The first one I picked is a traditionally made sake from Akita Prefecture. It is a Kimoto sake. Back in the day, they thought if they take steamed rice and take these poles and pole ram the steamed rice, that lactic acid would occur, and it did. Lactic acid helps the fermentation process.
Okay.
So this is a traditionally made Kimoto sake. Now, one other thing about True Sake is I had to make a review for every sake in the store.
It's a lot. That's a lot of work for you.
It's a ton of work. This is a great thing because in the wine world, the final product is dictated by about 80% by the grape, the quality of the grape, 20% by how much you make it, by how you make it.
Yeah.
In the sake world, it's almost the inverse. It's 80% of how they make it, 20% of the rice quality. Yeah. So each year these are very consistent. So each year's release, I'll look at my notes, I'll taste, it's like that's pretty spot on. They've made it again in that same capacity. So when I write a review, I don't know if somebody's going to be at home drinking it out of this. I don't know if somebody's going to be at home drinking out of this. Yeah. Or something in between. So every one of my reviews, I taste out of 3 vessels. Because it helps. And just like in the wine world, you know, the oxidation, all the play, the acidity play, sweetness on the tip of the tongue. Yeah. It does the exact same thing for sake. So I blend them. So what I'll do is I'll taste.
That's really cool.
That's exactly.
That's a very interesting.
Here's another thing I've done. I call this the bottle nose. People in the industry think I'm kind of a jerk because I always, when they leave samples, it's like, how long has the sample been open? I always like smelling. I'm big into aroma, so I like smelling the nose because you're capturing an aroma that you won't get again. It's pretty awesome. It helps me think of what the flavor of that sake is going to taste like. So in Japan, they drink with their nose. I'll be honest. No. They're very aroma driven when it comes to judging and grading and exploring sake. We don't do that. So in Japan, a lot of times, if the carpet doesn't match the curtains, the guy's like, "Oh, this is not a quality sake." But I love sakes where the carpet doesn't match.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. All right.
but do you guys want to try these?
Absolutely. Let's
Yeah.
try
All
some
right.
sake.
Why don't you guys do this? Why don't you taste them out of the different vessels and tell
Okay.
me if
All
you
right.
can tell, taste the
I'll
difference.
work my way this way. You work it. All right.
We'll meet in the middle. You guys drinkers, or do you want a spit bucket?
Oh, I think we're drinking.
We'll drink it.
Yeah, I think we'll make the effort for the yeah.
Okay.
What are you tasting?
So this is so unlike a lot of the other sakes that I've had, right? I don't think the aroma is like super strong on this,
No,
right?
it's very smooth.
No, it is smooth. That's the Kimoto method. That's the Jumai sort of pull ramming technique I was telling you about. It creates sort of a velvety flavor. Now, acidity is everywhere in sake and nowhere in sake. What I mean by that, it's the first thing, like all boozes, acidity is the first thing that hits the tip of your tongue and the last thing will leave your palate.
It's totally different. Like
The aroma on
the
that.
aroma. I mean, yeah. Like,
Sure.
can you like this
Now,
is
I served this room temperature to you guys
Absolutely.
too. Absolutely different. So you
I actually
should-
liked it better in that.
I like. I'm already loving it
Yeah.
more just off.
Okay, well then meet in the middle, see if they're one. So I wrote, this is a rich sake. If you want my review, I wrote the nose on this pull ram sake is a wonderful collection of roasted rice, chestnuts, honey, and nougat aromas. This is a very solid Kimoto sake that feels great in the palate. Think smooth, round, creamy, fat, rich, and very velvety. Look for roasted, ricey, and chocolatey flavors that become more like rich fruit tones as the fluid warms. If you've never tried sun warming a sake for cool evenings, this is the brew. Great. It's so many different.
I've
No,
never
that's great.
had such an experience where like
The fruit.
it drastically changed.
Yeah.
Like it's I could not recognize the two honestly from the and that tastes awesome. Like
Yeah.
I think that's
I've always been served sake in this. And then what is
Right.
this cup? I mean, what would
It's
you
a
call
very
that?
good question. This is an ochoko, and this is a very important thing. See, for me, I've had to sort of educate not just the customers, but restaurants too.
Yeah.
So when restaurants have higher end daiginjo sakes and they're pouring them out of these little cups, it just does nothing for sake. And the other thing is that kills me is when a restaurant is doing like a 2-ounce pour and charging like $15 when you can get
Been there,
a glass
yeah.
of wine for $10 for 5
Absolutely,
ounces.
yeah.
So all right, so we started rice in rich
Yep.
in sort of the traditional sort of flavor of sake. Now this is a brewery from Yamagata Prefecture where one of the fascinating things for me is when I taste sake and I'm tasting like fruit tones, I'm like, how the hell did that happen? How the hell did I get round, fruity flavors in a brew? Sorry, there's something in the bottom of my glass. That was made of just rice and water only. How did I get fruit tones?
Yeah.
Try this guy. This guy is a really fun brewery called Oyama, Big Mom, from Yamagata Prefecture. And again, you are drinking rice and water. But that's far different than the other one, right?
Oh my God, I love this.
Comparison-wise.
Immediately just the smell, the aroma of it.
Oh, man.
Very sake.
Correct. Like boozy or
Just, I would say, traditional to what I've been exposed to.
Much
The
more
other one was a
aromatic.
little bit more, I don't know, just smooth, subtle. This has kind of a kick to it.
You think so? So for me, it's like lighter, right? And it doesn't.
Sure,
It's much
absolutely.
lighter. But that aroma is beautiful. Oh my God, the fruit. This
Yeah.
reminds me of like a Sauvignon Blanc almost, right? It's just.
Yeah, I think that's
kind of the
wine.
Yeah, the category. Make great sake.
This is weird. I like the smell more so from here, and the taste slightly more from there.
Yeah.
Exactly why I do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
don't know.
so-
I don't know
yeah.
why. Yeah, that's
you,
so weird.
You will taste different components from
Yeah.
each of the ones, though.
That's,
So-
this is like a magic trick almost. You could play at home. I swear to God with people.
No, but it's the same
Like,
with all boozes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You're distributing the acidity through your palate at a different rate. That's putting the sweetness on the tip of your tongue, right? Think of your motion that you're making right now. Whereas this guy sends it
Yeah.
to the sides.
You like
and
opening-
so, yeah, and so this actually will have a little bit of a hotter tail because it sends
yeah.
the acidity sort of the back of the
That's
throat.
good.
That is true. It is a little bit hotter out
Correct.
out of there. Yeah, this is good. I'm gonna drink more. This is freaking awesome.
You're funny. These are some of our hottest sellers. This is an arabashiri. When you make sake, typically you will pasteurize it twice.
Okay.
2 pasteurizations.
Okay.
A sake is a pasteurized beast. That's what it is. But they also release unpasteurized sakes, raw sakes,
Nice, okay.
living brews.
Mm.
And this guy is from a brewery called Gokyo, and it's arabashiri. So before they even press the unfermented sort of rice particles, the leaves, if you will, this comes trickling out. So this sake is raw freaking sake.
So just
Spring release sake.
this almost I almost
I
I almost
smell
want to say
it.
fungal to me, like
Yeasty.
yeah.
Are you
I just,
getting yeasty tones? Remember, so yeast is a big component of sake. So this is bright, brash, raw, kick butt sake that's saying, "Argh,
Wow.
feel me, yeah.
this is the one that changes the most as it comes down almost to me.
And it's
Oh, man.
living, and it's bright, and it's wonderful. And I like people who can't go to Japan, who want to taste sake that's just right made. When I go to brewery tours and the guy has a ladle and he's doing it right there, and it just feels like it's exploding in your mouth. It's
Yeah.
three-dimensional. So they'll tank age it for maybe like 6 months,
Yeah.
and then release it. Because that's brash, isn't it? Look at your face.
It almost tingles.
It is tingling.
Well, I know, but what is that? But I don't know what that is. Like
Did
I'm
you
like
get a shot of the
I
face?
swear to God, it's almost like tingling. I just like.
Don't edit that out.
No, no.
And so this is very fresh, very seasonal sake. Just give me one quick description of these guys. Does it taste living? Is it like
Exciting. Honestly, like that.
Complex.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It is complex. And you know what? A lot of times people say, like, what are you pairing foods with something like this? These guys are great with sort of international spice.
Mhm.
You could take this baby to like Thai food. You could take it to very
Nice.
spicy, international cuisines, and it just stands up to it.
It is something
Good
that's
acidity.
unfortunate with sake is you kind of. I've only been limited to just eating it with sushi, whereas
Yeah.
like having this with Thai would be awesome.
It's the bane of my existence. That's why I don't know if you guys know, but we're opening a bar.
Yes,
Yeah,
we were
so-
told.
And so I'm going to break down that barrier. That's why
Cool.
I'm doing that. And I've
Great.
done it for 12 years. Last night I did it. I took 2 bottles of sake to Nopa.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
We paired sake with Western food, and then we critique it. We rate it. So I'm beholden to sushi, but I got to cut the umbilical cord. Because
Yeah.
people come in.
'Cause that's
nine
how
out
you
of
bring
10
more
times-
people in. Like
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times people say like, "Oh, I drink sake with sushi."
Yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, honestly, when you said like you take it to Thai, I also thought because it could handle some of the spice. Like I'm Peruvian, so ceviche. Like
Right.
I'm thinking about like a spicy ceviche and something that can like match it or whatever. Especially because it's weird. Like I like spicy ceviche to burn a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I should have done it. But then I take this and it calms me back down a little bit, so I can keep on going.
I
with
did
it.
the sake menu at Lamar. They did the Peruvian ceviche. So
Really?
they had sakes there. They still have sakes there.
I've seen-
sake,
yeah.
Sake and anything from the ocean is whatever culture, wherever the hell you come from.
Yeah.
They're meant to be.
Awesome.
All right. So one of the new world sakes are sparkling sakes, and very popular segment right now
Mm-hmm.
because people like the vibrant flavors of it, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit lower alcohol. So I don't like saying it's novel, but it's very interesting. And I always recommend people to drink them out of like a champagne flute because it does have good bubbles. And so this is Tokomeki. This is probably one of my top selling sparkling sakes. I'll give you guys in 2 different vessels. I recommend out of a sparkling wine glass, but these guys same holds. Now
So-
what you're drinking is just rice and water again, but
The
taste.
smell is so.
It's a bounty of aromas.
So you were telling us before, and I love the story that you're saying these new age sakes, but at the same time, you have a friend who has a brewery. His family's been doing this since 1155.
1157.
1157.
He's a 55th generation owner.
Which is insane. Any family to have been doing any same thing for that long is just impressive and amazing.
Right.
And he was doing this, or his family has been doing this for.
His grandfather used to do it. I'm a purist. I'm a sake. I don't like saying I'm a sake snob, but I'm a purist.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that promotes sake is good for me. So when sparkling sake started first come to the States, which I told the brewers, you got to start releasing sparkling sakes.
Mhm.
I didn't want it to be considered novelty, so I was looking for that hook.
Yeah.
So the guy who's his grandfather, 55th, so Mr. 53rd generation guy, he used to make sparkling sakes for family parties.
Yeah.
And so if it's good enough for a brewery that's been around since 1157, it's good enough for everybody else.
Yeah.
What do you think of these flavors?
So the aroma, I can't find a word because it's not.
Pez.
It's not.
Pez, like candy. Does it have sort of
That's
like a
It's
Pez candy?
it's sweet, definitely sweeter. Is there? It almost seems like there's wood or oak. I mean, I don't know. Is that?
If chalk had a smell, that's the way I would think of it to me, like the. You know what I mean? But it's not. For example, like in the aromas on the
Also yeasty.
the Namazaki or whatever, like that was super bright. It was very clear what the smell was here. It's almost a little bit more muddled to me.
don't
But
get
the
the
sweetness
wood.
is definitely very wood.
I don't
This
know.
is incredibly sweet sake. You measure the.
I don't get the wood. I mean, the sweet, the sugar. This is very.
Alright, dump those bad boys
Wow.
out. Let's do one more sparkling to bring you into sparkling camp. So these guys are in sweet zones that are just off the charts. One is a negative 80. This guy's a negative 80, and I think the one I'm pouring you right now, also Gokyo, the same Namazake that you guys had, same brewery. Try this one.
So does that mean? I mean, if the sugar's that high, is like this strictly for dessert, or am I? Like, when
It's
am
a
I
good
drinking
question.
this?
So,
Like,
so fruity, sugary sort of flavors. Starch, remember, glucose. So some guys like really kind of thick sakes. Glucose, you like?
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, great.
Really like that.
And I'll say,
man, this is.
is that awesome?
Yeah, this is the
The-
little. Yeah, this is yeah.
This is going with you.
Get the true sake. Make sure. Yeah, this stuff is. But you were mentioning earlier you have a sake bar that's starting. Tell us about it, because if you're in San Francisco and we can make it here, like when are we gonna be able to go, and when are we gonna be able to taste some of your pairings and stuff like that?
It's going to be all pairings, and it's in July. We'll probably open in July, and it's called True Cup. So we're taking
Nice.
True Sake
Okay.
and the True Cup. Look, I've been doing this. I don't have a license to do this.
Yeah.
I don't have a tasting license here. So I've been honing my skills, and my team's been honing their skills, selling bottles of sake closed for 13 years.
Yeah.
And I never get feedback. People come back eventually.
Mhm.
You know, I used to chart people in their books and stuff like that. They grade sakes. For me, it's going to be fantastic to see the immediate response from people.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I've got skills for 13 years of doing the spiel without getting the feel. So the bar is going to be just exploratory. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be for people who know nothing about sake. It's going to be for sake geeks. And I love my sake geeks, but I also love educating people and teaching them and showing them that, you know what, there are sakes for you.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I like sake. And so it'll be absolutely exploratory. And I'm also taking it one step further. We're not going to do Japanese food. We're doing
Nice.
Western food.
Okay,
So we're
okay.
going to make you guys think. But there's one hook that I can't give you just yet.
Okay.
The vehicle is the kind of fun part of the bar.
Where is in San Francisco? Can you let us know where that's going to be, or?
It's right on. It's going to be a market on Octavia Street, which
Okay.
is literally 4 blocks that way.
Yeah. Okay. I know
Right
that.
up Octavia Street.
And you said
So,
July.
July. So we'll
July, when the cameras are July, True Cup. That's where you need to be getting your sake. That sounds great.
All right.
I'm excited.
So
We'll have to come back and do some of that.
welcome back to sake.
Yeah, welcome back to sake. This was absolutely awesome, Beau.
Cheers, guys.
Dude,
Yeah,
thank you so
thank
much,
you.
man.
Thank you
Appreciate the
very much.
time.
Totally
Thank you.
appreciate it. Anytime.